It was a Tuesday in April, and I, Julian Harper, CEO of Novatech Solutions, stood in Whole Foods. Checkout line, my cart loaded with organic kale and quinoa, trying to stay fit amidst the corporate grind, reaching for my wallet. My heart sank. My Visa, Infinite card, was missing. Panic hit worse than a competing stock crash after our latest software drop. I checked every pocket, my phone case. Nothing left. I left it at home. I muttered, leaving my shopping and running back to Starwood Heights, my posh Atlanta neighborhood where grass is immaculate and the Ho Police's blade height a felony. My new house at 478 Cedar Drive blazes like a colonial clone 3 years ago. And I never felt embraced by some people, particularly Margaret Ellison, the HOA chairwoman across the street. Her welcome committee when I moved in was more of a probe into how a black tech entrepreneur given the space on my office desk. The jar was used in place of drawer. My wallet was there, but lighter. My license and insurance cards remained, but the Visa wasn't there. Sweat beadated as I verified on my bank app. $10,200 worth of charges. I never made $19. $200 for Crestview University, $500 for Best Buy, $250 at GameStop and Chipotle, and 5 guys respectively within a span of 24 hours. Someone had borrowed my card and spent. Spending, but how my doors were locked, my security system armed, no break-in signs. I pulled up my camera's front door, back door officey, a precaution after Margaret's early shade at 11:43 a.m. yesterday when I was at a client meeting. Margaret walked in with a key. I never gave her, heading directly into my office. She rifled my desk, pocketed my Visa with a smirk that boiling made, and photographed my licensed Social Security card, a stupid storage option, and card code. My jaw was clamped shut. I phoned Visa reporting fraud with an outstanding $600 charge at Gamers Haven Resort linking dots. I remembered Margaret's son Ethan, 19, staying at home, a community college dropout comic book tease. Now at Crestview for her boasts, my hijacked card was paving his second chance Visa, prompted police action. "Oh, I will," I said, "but first I'd call the thief." How did Margaret get my key as HO president? She had resident data, but no home access. Her ease entering recommended practice. I texted her, "Margaret, urgent HO issue at my place, can you drop?" "By in 30? Her response was immediate. "Of course, Julian, everything okay?" I smiled at the feigned concern, answering, "Need your expertise." I backed up footage to the cloud, and a hard drive, called my lawyer Patrice Coleman, and set my cameras and phone to tape. Margaret came in with Ethan, her blue tracksuit, yelling, "HOA Patrol," blonde hair, refusing humidity. Ethan, 270 pounds in a Batman tee and Hulk shorts, grinned like we were in on it. "Hello, Julian. Margaret Koo." "Ethan's here eyeing property management." "This is private," I said icily. Her smile constricted. "We're neighbors. Nothing's too private." I took them to the living room, cutting to the chase. "Margaret, why'd you use an unauthorized key to steal my credit card yesterday?" Her face pad, but she rallied. "That's outrageous." Ethan shifted eyes, darting. I spun my laptop, showing her break-in. "I've got you stealing plus $10,200 in charges, including Crestview tuition." For Ethan, Ethan's smirk disappeared. "Mom," he stammered. Margaret's mask cracked. "You have cameras inside. That's illegal." "You broke in." I laughed. "That's illegal. An emergency key for Ethan's tuition." Ethan mumbled. "Mom, what did you do?" She ignored him, jabbing a finger. "We've had financial struggles since Ethan's father left. I'd have repaid you in what I fired back. Your broke." Her face reamed. "How dare you? My family's been here for generations. So you steal from me." "Borrow," she shouted. "You've got money to burn people like you always do." The slur hung heavy. Ethan begged. "Mom, let's go," she snapped. "No," I pushed. "How many times have you been in my house?" Panic flashed. Ethan blurted, "You said you borrowed sugar last month and cookies during Christmas." Margaret's shut up arrived too late. I ended recording. "Thanks for confessing." She widened her eyes. "You recorded us. That's against the law. Georgia's one-party consent." "I told you're finished," she raged. "You're destroying Tyler's future for a technicality. You people move in as if you own the place." I stood. "Get out or I call the police." She spat. "This isn't over, Julian Harper," as Ethan pulled her out. I called the police, reporting break-in, theft, and fraud. Patrice was gleeful, open and shut as I sipped scotch. 3 patrol cars came, lights flashing. Neighbors peeking. Officers approached, hands on holsters, while another addressed Margaret, now sobbing theatrically across the street. Mr. Harper once said sternly, "Mrs. Ellison says you threatened her and her son, accusing them of theft to intimidate and take HOA control." I blinked. She interrupted and swiped my card. "I have video." They frowned. She said, "You're stalking her with cameras." My security apprehended her crime. I retorted, exhibiting the videos. Their skepticism dissipated as Margaret rummaged my desk, followed by our taped confrontation. I presented the charges, including Crestview. "Damn," one grumbled. "I'm pressing charges," I said. "They crossed to." Margaret, her sobs ceasing as panic set in. Ethan nodded wretchedly to their questions. After 15 minutes, they led a subdued Margaret to my door. Sergeant Amir Khan said, "She's cooperating. Will you listen to her out?" I nodded. Margaret, eyes down, mumbled it was a misunderstanding with HOA funds. "I would have paid you back. You stole $10,200. I snapped. "You've been in my house before. Never took anything until now." She insisted sliding checking homes is my HOA responsibility. "That's against the law," I said. Khan interrupted Mrs. Ellison. "You're under arrest for break and theft and fraud," she wailed. "You can't. I'm respected here. You should have considered that." Khan said, cuffing her. She glared. "Your fault, Julian," I shot back. "Would you have taken from a white neighbor?" Her silence roared at the station. My proof sealed her doom. News traveled like wildfire. Some neighbors sympathized with me. Others looked at me warily. Purchasing Margaret's Victim Act. Patrice filed felony charge break-in. Grand theft, fraud. No chance of jail, she said. But probation service restitution. Margaret's run countersuit, harassment, privacy, invasion. Hauled claiming my cameras were stalking, desperate. Patrice laughed scornfully. An emergency HOA meeting at Margaret's house confirmed her strategy. I attended, facing 20 neighbors. Some hostile, Margaret, still president, pushed a rule requiring camera disclosure, framing me as a privacy threat. My cameras aren't hidden. I encountered, "They protect my business." Judge Clara Monroe. A neighbor called it discriminatory. Mrs. Evans, my ally, accused Margaret of retaliation. I dropped a bomb. "Let's discuss hokies and funds." Margaret borrowed chaos erupted. I slipped out next day. Clara, Mrs. Evans, and Mr. Shaw came to visit, suspending Margaret and apologizing. They'd changed locks, audited funds, discovering $30,000 missing, and offered me an HOA board seat. Patrice called Margaret's suit was dismissed, and the DA found she'd preyed on elderly neighbors for years. 2 months later in court, Margaret Dowie and Navy pleaded guilty. The day outlined her pattern, preying on vulnerable residents. Her lawyer's devoted mom plea. Failed Judge Elena Torres sentenced her to 6 months house arrest, 5 years, probation, 500 hours service, 20,200 restitution to me, and an HOA ban. I gave it to a scholarship fund. Margaret relocated to Florida. A data clerk Ethan grew up apologized, working to repay me studying at Georgia Tech. The HOA under me constructed a community center representing inclusion. A year afterwards, at its groundbreaking Starwood Heights, flourished, diverse, transparent, a photograph from my HOA swearing in hung on my office wall, a testament to belonging gained through a forgotten card.